The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the EPPodcast.com.
And welcome into the EP Podcast. My name is Chris Lanuti, bellying up to my 9-foot homemade oak bar right here in my basement in Evergreen Park for 30 minutes of good. We've had a lot of fun over the last couple of weeks here on the EP Podcast. Remember, we're on demand, so if you missed something, you can always go back and check out Abby Murphy, our local Olympian. A really interesting 30-minute show with local Dr. David Beckman of Family First Medical Group as I came out of my bout with COVID. A lot of really interesting stuff in that episode. If you missed it, check it out. We had a lot of people say it was a good one. It was interesting. They heard a lot of stuff they had not heard before. We got a good show today. It's all brought to you by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. They want you to consider getting a junior savers account for your kids. It's a good thing to teach your kids the importance of saving money. First National Bank of Evergreen Park wants to help out. With a junior savers account, children can earn interest on every dollar they deposit so they can watch their money grow. Show your kids how rewarding saving can be. Learn more at bankevergreenpark.com/juniorsavers/EP or just stop into that iconic building at 95th and Pulaski and say hi. Get yourself a free EP Podcast car magnet. No minimum. Required to open. Member FDIC. And we have the newest president of the Evergreen Park Chamber of Commerce, also works over at AAA in Evergreen Park. And from what I could tell as we sit here before I turn on the microphones, all kinds of AAAs everywhere. Sara Klein, one of the busiest people that I've ever met in my entire life. How are you, Sara?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here, Chris. I'm so glad you invited me in. I love your studio, and it's a blast to be here.
Is this the first time down here?
Yes, this is my first visit.
I have, it's been 4 years, and I have sometimes, I'll have crowds in here, so I never know. I was like, she might have been here before. She might have never been here before. I'm not sure.
First time. It's an honor.
All right. Well, yeah. We've got, it's a setup. I still have the Christmas lights up. I always go late on taking these down around the bar. They add extra light to everything. It's very festive down here. It's more of a party atmosphere. I got the big C9 bulbs that wrap around everything.
Oh, those are expensive nowadays. And don't worry, we didn't take any of our lights down, especially with the winter and it being, we have to have something to brighten it up. My kids want to keep them up.
Right. As my daughter said, it's COVID. You could just leave your lights up. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to ask any questions. You can do whatever you want to. Yeah. I actually kept the lights that are around the top of the house up all last year. Nobody noticed. Nobody said a word. I asked friends about it. Did you ever notice I had the lights up still? And they're like, no, I never even noticed that you had them attached to the gutter. So I don't think I can get away with it this year because I bragged about it. So I probably will have to take them down when it thaws out. So the chamber is busy right now. This is always a busy time of the year. You're trying to do your big drive for new membership. You are getting your directory together that goes out to every home in Evergreen Park. Last year, we were actually, the back page ad was the EP Podcast. And so if you have that directory, you can go back and check that out. You've got those two big things that are going on right now. First off, why don't we talk a little bit about being a member? There is a lot of local businesses that are in it, but there are also local businesses that listen to this show that may not be a member of the chamber, and there are probably people who are curious what you guys do. So overall, just kind of give me a big picture. What is the chamber about on a day-to-day, month-to-month basis?
Yeah, so really what we're doing, and I'm really excited for this year. Besides everything they've been doing and building upon that, it's really, I want a lot of member engagement. I want to grow our social media presence. We're going to have some fun with social media. We're going to have some videos. This year, it's really about our members and meeting our members and knowing who we are. During these times, we've kind of been a little bit divided and maybe not able to do a lot of things in person, but that shouldn't stop us from supporting each other, referring our business to each other, letting the community know we're here. Just knowing that, a business is with the chamber, someone will be likely to do business with them at 68% more than if they aren't. And I really want our community unity. I use the hashtag EPProud all the time. I also encourage, these members, we're going to highlight them. We're driving traffic to their sites. We're posting them every month, writing a highlight on them. There's even been some talk, and you might be the first to hear this, that the mayor will come also visit the Meet the Member, and we'll have some fun learning more about your business, posting the videos on the chamber site. So, really this year, I want to engage these members, but add to value to their membership. Hey, we're going to post you. We're going to get site traffic. we're going to promote you. And this directory is also a way in terms of not only our community, but the businesses. If I'm going to a business, I'm looking at our directory.
Right.
I'm seeing what I need, what services, and I'm using that directory. And I encourage our community to do the same as well. But if you're not a member, now's the time. Our membership price is amazing. I mean, it's not much at all for the exposure you're going to get. And that's why I was excited about taking this role, because our social media, since I even joined the chamber, has already grown. I mean, our followers on Facebook, the Clearys do an amazing job on our site, driving traffic. I mean, it's just really, like I said, we want to make sure that we're supporting local, we're shopping local, we're staying local, and that our members are seeing the return on that, as well as partnering with other businesses. I know I've had OSF to a few of my events, just making sure we all stick together economically, that we grow instead of, some businesses closing. This membership means a lot more than just, hey, we're putting your name in a directory.
Yeah. And the thing that I notice, and I'm curious whether or not you have a solution for it, if you've ever thought about it, you don't see a lot of the bars and the restaurants being a part of the chamber. I'm not saying that they're all out of it, but most of them kind of sit out there. And you have to think that over the last couple of years, they've probably been the ones that have needed the help more than anybody. Would that be something that you guys would probably think like this year or in the future, that maybe trying to find a way to start to bring them into the fold with the chamber? Because I know they all talk to each other. That's the thing. Like, especially during this time, every time I talk to a bar, restaurant, food place, sandwich shop, whatever, anybody that serves food in Evergreen Park or drink, I know they've all become much closer in the last 2 years. They used to be very competitive. And now they're all really close to each other because they had to kind of band together to survive, like share ideas, which is kind of what the chamber does. So it almost seems like the next logical step is to try to get them all in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a huge thing to me, because part of my initiatives are creating, even for holidays, any gifts or anything that anyone's going to buy, is promoting, hey, our restaurants, get a gift certificate. I'm trying to get businesses that are alike to partner. So maybe it's a bar and it's a restaurant, and hey, go there for, drinks before and get a gift certificate for dinner. Putting packages together that really make sense with different companies, and hopefully putting them on the site so that people during times can be like, hey, I'm going to buy my mom, dinner and a drink, and she can get her hair done. And, trying to find ways to incorporate those businesses, and they would see the value in that. Hey, it might be competing bars, but you have, the drinks here, we'll have dinner here. But really, I want it to be a package deal, and gift certificates. And for anything we do, buying the gift certificates from there to raffle off or do, that they see the value in that. And I do believe we should have more bars and restaurants in there, and they'll see that value with trying to get traffic in there, order out from there. You know how like Domino's right now, they're doing we buy gift certificates from other restaurants. That's what we kind of want to do.
That's awesome. So I am always curious, because the Chamber of Commerce it's not like directly linked to the government structure of Evergreen Park, but you already mentioned the mayor helping you out with something. And whenever we have on village trustees or Mayor Kelly Burke or anybody that's actually associated with the village, one of the first things they do is they talk about business. They talk about small business. They talk about the fact that that's the lifeblood of the economy of the area. It's always small business, and it's always good policing. That seems to be like the two things they always talk about. So how involved do they get with you guys? How much support do you get? Do you bounce ideas off of them? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say the support of the village is amazing. And the mayor, I love working with Mayor Burke. She's amazing. She wants to do, like I said, with the Meet the Members, we're kind of doing something fun with it where she wants to go and engage with these business owners. She really wants, I have to say her support has been amazing. She gets involved. Every time I see her, she's like, what can we do? She thinks of better ideas, how to collaborate. And like I said, she wants to be involved. And I appreciate that about her. So anything we're doing, ribbon cuttings, like I said, visiting the businesses together, her and I hopefully will do in the next few months. We're trying to get out there, obviously. But yeah, she wants to do videos. She wants to go visit everyone. And I love working with her. So hopefully, like I said, that'll get some more exposure. And she cares about these businesses. She really does. And that's what I appreciate about her.
It is now time for your EP podcast, Word on the Street. We're going to get back to Sara here in just a moment. This is all brought to you by Cool Clouds Vapor Shop. Reed, Bridget, and the rest of the staff over at Cool Clouds want to help you stop smoking. A lot of people find that moving to vapor products helps them along the way. They have pretty much any device, any kind of vapor product that you could possibly want to check out, and they have a testing bar as well. Go on in and they'll walk you through the process. 3837 West 95th Street, right here in Evergreen Park, or check out coolcloudsvapor.com. If you are a part of a Catholic parish in Evergreen Park, this is an interesting week for you. The Archdiocese of Chicago with the Renew My Church initiative, which could also be called We Might Close Your Parish or Combine It with Somebody Else. Renew My Church was a little bit more catchy. The announcement with St. Bernadette, Queen of Martyrs, and Most Holy Redeemer, all here in Evergreen Park, is happening on Tuesday evening at 6:30. Sign up in advance to watch online at renewmychurch.org/announcements. I am sure we will break down any major moves. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the table here. You might see like one parish combined with another one. You might see all three of them be like a super parish. It is something a lot of Evergreen Park residents are watching this week. If you go to watch that online, you have to sign up in advance. Don't wait until the time of the announcement on Tuesday. Effective in March, the Evergreen Park Water Department is bringing back the penalties and possible shut-off of your water service if you are past due. If you are experiencing financial difficulties, they are willing to work with you. Contact the Water Department now, 708-424-6222. And the Evergreen Park Baseball Club is doing sign-ups for Little League. Look, if you want to be a part of it, you want to sign up early this year. Supply problems that are happening all over the country are affecting these guys as well. They're asking the families sign their kids up for the Evergreen Park Baseball Club by February the 15th. Don't wait on this. If they're going to have the uniforms and the equipment all here in time for the season, they need to know how many kids are playing a little bit earlier this year. Sign up at epbaseballclub.com. That's your EP podcast, Word on the Street. More with Sara Klein, and later on, Glenn Pniewski and Josie Donovan from the Village, the Rec Department. They'll be on the show as well. This is the EP podcast, found everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the eppodcast.com. Building relationships, supporting the community, and service. These are the things that Country Financial stands for. They're more than just an office you may pass by as you drive through Evergreen Park. They're neighbors who lend a helping hand and support the fabric of your community, including charitable organizations, sports, financial education, and civic organizations. And since Country is already your neighbor, they want to get together and chat. Call your local Country Financial representative, Mike Thauer, today at 708-425-1559 to talk about the things that are important to you and how he can help you protect them. So I'm going to embarrass Sara here for just a second, because I'm sitting here and as I'm listening to her sit here at the bar and have this conversation with me, I have to say, you probably have the highest energy level and the strongest voice on the microphone that I've ever sat down with at this bar. Have you broadcasted before? Because I feel like you're in your own element here while you're sitting here, you're talking. Because generally people come in and we have our regular voice that we talk with. And then when they start talking on the microphone, some people get scared and they pull back a little bit. And afterwards, I have to pump up their voice. I have to go digitally in. I'm not going to do anything with you. Do you have a career in broadcasting I'm not aware of, Sara?
Yeah, so actually it's funny. My major was broadcast journalism. And yes.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, she's a natural at this.
I know the sound levels. I spent many times in editing rooms back when we had the little buttons and it was not a digital analog. And yeah, so my background, I actually used to work for TMZ, so had a little camera experience. Yeah. I do the visual, although one time I was told I have a good radio voice, so I don't know what that meant. I'm not pretty enough for TV.
No, that's the face for radio is what that is. Yes. That's the insult that people always throw at people. I was always told that too. You have a face for radio.
You have a really good radio voice. Yeah, you should maybe go to that. And then when they hired me for TMZ, they were like, are you going to be on camera? I'm a natural voice.
I remember I did I did in one town I was in, I want to say when I was in Reno, Nevada, the radio station had this thing where they wanted me to go on the local news and they wanted me to do a segment. And, I don't think like I'm like, Don Juan, like super good looking. Like I'm not a model for crying out loud, but I don't think I'm hideous, right?
No.
And I'm like in my early 20s and they're like, the TV station wants you to send over some headshots. And I'm like, I don't have headshots. I'm a radio guy. So I have to go to some place. Like I think I went to like a JCPenney and they're like, what are you here for? I'm like, I just need some pictures. By yourself? Like it's like family portraits. I'm like, I need headshots. So can I just stand here and you guys take some nice pictures of me and I'll pick some good ones, right? So I go through this whole thing. I buy these headshots. I send them over. They never called. They must have looked at it and be like, yep, yeah, he's a radio guy. He's got to stay behind the microphone. I don't know if we got enough makeup to make him look like the anchor that's sitting next to him.
We got good voices though.
Tell everybody how you can get into the directory. That's only for chamber members, I would assume.
Yes, it's for our chamber members. So obviously, if you're not a member, we are welcoming you to join.
And then you're selling ads.
Yes,
for the
we're
directory
selling
right
ads,
now.
which are awesome. We still have a lot available. They're reasonably priced. There's obviously from $125 to $425, but there's really good ad space in there. Like I said, left, and it goes to 7,000 households in Evergreen Park.
And that's the thing I was going to bring up next. Is it only chamber members that can buy an ad? Because I always have things like a school reaches out and says, Chris, can you please promote this on the podcast? Can you do this? Can you do that? Everything else like that. And I keep thinking to myself, like 7,000 homes for crying out loud. If there's an event going on, if somebody wants to promote it, or if somebody's got something going on locally, maybe the ad makes a lot of sense for them for the thing that they have coming up.
Yes, and we'd welcome that. Like I said, get the ad in there. We will take non-members, members. If you want an ad, we'll give you the space. And hopefully, once you put an ad there, we can talk to you about joining the membership and all the value that we could add to your business and your services.
Are you still doing a thing that the mayor brought up, I want to say in December, where people that move into the neighborhood, like the mayor is showing up with like all the chamber.
Welcome to the village.
Yeah, they have like a bag and she shows up. Like, what town do you move into where your mayor shows up at the door and is like, hey, welcome to Evergreen? Like with
a bag, just fill the front.
And the chamber's sitting there with all these coupons and other things. And like, we have something in the bag like, welcome to Evergreen. This is how you learn what's going on. Here's the EP podcast. Like, are you guys still doing that?
Yes, we are. And in fact, I'm excited. I look forward to this year going with Mayor Burke to do it because the feedback was amazing. In fact, 2 of my friends moved in and they were like, hey, we got the Welcome to the Village bag. And I was like, oh, good. Did you see the AAA logo on there too? And it gave all the businesses, the bags are beautiful too. They're very sturdy, but we are continuing that. Yeah. So if there was anyone that moved in that we missed, shoot us a message. We'll come bring it to you. But the mayor is still dedicated to personally dropping those off and welcoming everyone to the community.
All right. Well, a lot of good information there from Sara Klein, the new president of the Evergreen Park Chamber of Commerce. And why don't you rattle off how people can reach you? I know you got the website, you got social media, just kind of give everybody an idea, especially if somebody, let's say, slipped through the cracks, moved in and didn't get their visit from the mayor, or they want to reach out to you about the directory that's coming up, or if they want to become a member of the chamber or anything else like that.
Yeah, so you can just go to the Evergreen Park Chamber website, which we have. Although I'm going to say my favorite new method is they gave me access to Facebook. They might actually, regret it, but reach out. I can check it. I've had a few people actually that are new members reach out to me via social media through the messenger. If you find Sara Klein, you can send it. But also I am checking our Facebook page every day. Kelly's checking it every day. If you go through the website, you can also easily put your ad up there and send Kelly Maroney the details. But again, Facebook, we're driving the activity this year. So please go on, like us, follow us, send us messages. I will approve it. I'll send one back personally, but those are the best ways to reach us.
All right, Sara Klein, she's the president of the Evergreen Park Chamber of Commerce. If you had never met her before, you definitely met her during this interview. That was fun. I enjoyed it.
That was a lot of fun. I have
awesome.
to come back now and visit.
Anytime. You come back anytime, Sara.
Thank you.
After talking with Sara about the chamber, we might as well do our Shop Local Spotlight for the week. Grinders Training Academy at 10200 South Kedzie Avenue has youth sports training, conditioning fitness classes for all levels, kids and adults. They provide private coaching and coaches can rent their facilities. Contact them directly. Learn about everything they do. Grinders with a Z, Academy.com. That's Grinders Academy, dreamerstowing.com. And if at any time you need a car towed, you need roadside assistance, let's say, you have a junk car that you want bought, Dreamers Towing and Recovery right here in Evergreen Park, available 24/7, 365. Throw Tony's number into your phone right now, 773-410-4549. You'll never know when you're gonna need it. That is your Shop Local Spotlight, and this is the EP Podcast. If you've been listening to my podcast for a while, you know all about Family Waterproofing Solutions. They do incredible, highly rated, award-winning work all across the Chicagoland area. And now Family Waterproofing Solutions is hosting an installer job fair. That's right, Saturday, February the 26th from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. in Evergreen Park. You can find out what they do, why they do it, and all the services they provide. If you're looking to change careers or start a new one, if you're already experienced in the field and looking for a fresh start, join them. Excellent benefit packages are available. Just bring your valid driver's license Saturday, February 26th to Family Waterproofing Solutions, 3328 West 95th Street in Evergreen Park. Learn more about what a difference a family makes at familydry.com. Joining us on the phone line right now from the village of Evergreen Park, we've got two guests that like to come out at the exact same time with each other. You guys are like a pair now. Glenn Pniewski from the village and then Josie Donovan over at the rec department. How are you both?
We are doing well. Yeah, basically, I am the Andy Richter of this particular show. So, and here's Josie. Yeah.
That's funny. So Josie, let's start with you. The rec department. A lot of things, I think, going on from what I can see. I looked online. You have a ton of different programs. I think people during the month of January, coming out of the holidays, there's like a burnout. And there's a feeling that, like, in reality, there's nothing to do in January and February. Everybody's just waiting for the weather to break, your St. Patrick's Day events, the spring hitting, and then the world kind of comes alive again. But there's a lot going on right now in the rec department, right?
We do. We have preschool registrations open. We're actually opening for the fall for next year, so we're excited about that. And we've got some hockey tournaments coming up and the Family Flake Fest that we're going to contain outside in early February. So we actually do have quite a bit going on that we want to get everyone out to still.
Give me again what happens during Flake Fest for anybody that's forgotten like myself, because I remember a Flake Fest existing, but I can't exactly remember what happens at it.
So typically we have the ice skating, outside, and then inside we do the cookie decorating. We have some vendors there, arts and crafts for the kids. This year, just to be on the safe side, we're going to contain it all outside. So we're going to do the free ice skating. We're going to have some hockey clinics early, and then Jim Long will be there doing some ice sculpting for us. We'll have free open skate. The snow cleaning court will be there from the high school. And then those funny little people will be there for the kids to, do a little dance and some song and get everyone kind of into it. But most exciting is the free ice skating all day. That'll be from 1 to 6.
Well, that's exciting, but I do dig the guy who does the ice sculptures. When he goes with the chainsaw, I mean, that's something to watch.
It really is fun.
What day is Flake Fest? It's over at Dan Capuano Ice Rink in Yukich Field, I would assume?
You got it. On Saturday, February 5th, and it's going to be 1 to 6.
1 to 6 over there. It's free admission. Any charge for the skating or any of the events that are going on?
Nope, everything's going to be free to the public. We'll just ask everyone to come on out. We'll have, skate rental and that type of thing. But yeah, the ice skating's free on us that day. Get everyone out, and we just want to see all of our villagers there.
Very cool. Now, I did notice that it looks like the rec department has a bunch of different things going on, and I see everything from, adults and tots things to things for young adults, things for kids. Can you kind of break down, or do you have anything new this year that maybe we haven't seen in the past, or something that maybe is a favorite of people every year that they go and do during this time of year?
So right now, everybody's into, for the adults, the cycling. That seems to, everyone's new year, new you. So everyone's been getting on the cycle bikes. We have some great instructors down there that we're always pushing people to stop in and check us out. We're quite affordable compared to some of the ones around us. And then, we have the adult and tot classes. We try and get those started. I know in the winter they're ready to get out and get those kids' energy burned. But the ice rink, everything's kind of up and running, and we're starting Irish dance and all those favorites.
That's awesome. I had worried. When everything started to get a little crazy here in the last couple of months that all of a sudden a lot of this stuff was going to get shut down. I'm really proud of the fact that you guys are still moving forward with your programs, giving people an opportunity, a choice to go out and do something. Was it a little nerve-wracking over the last month or so over in the rec department?
It has been quite stressful over in the rec department, but any way we can, get people involved. And again, like you said, everyone has a choice if they're interested. We'd love to have them. We know some people are still nervous, so, we'll wait them out, but we're here when they're ready.
One of the things that I see inside of the booklet, these different programs that are coming up over the next couple of months here in the rec department, I feel like Glenn would be perfect for, but unfortunately he's a little too old for it. Ages 5 to 12 can learn magic on the 4th of February. Glenn, you seem like you'd be a magician to me.
Well, you'll notice that I know how to disappear out of conversations pretty quickly. But no, actually, I'm a baby boomer, so I grew up, watching, Bozo Circus, and they would always have the commercials for, the TV magic kits and the magic cards, and I got all that stuff, and I was actually pretty good at it. So
I had the Blackstone kit. That's what I had. I remember getting that where you could do like something like 20 different tricks, and it came in a box, and it looks like these kids are actually getting a magic kit to take home, so that's pretty cool.
I am taking a class right now on magic, on trying to figure out how you can make your mortgage disappear. I haven't mastered that one yet.
Anything exciting going on around the village other than the rec department things, Glenn? I mean, you're on the call. I figure you got something you want to share with us.
Well, the theater program is not forgotten. I do have dates scheduled for something to happen in May, but at this point, I don't know what that thing is. There's a lot that has to be worked into as far as where the surge is. But it doesn't mean we're sitting tight. We actually are putting together something now, which I'll take the opportunity to ask you for your help because it's something we've talked about before. But we are actually kicking off an audio series called the Candlelight Radio Theater. Music, comedy, drama, and suspense. In other words, a typical day at the Village Hall. But this would be much like we did the Candlelight Review over last year, which was all video, and this would be pre-recorded radio plays. We've got things down like the old suspense show and some comedy shows, and always need a good, strong voice, and I know you've got one, so would love to have you involved. Didn't you do Chico Marx for us once in a show a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I've done a few different ones for you. I've jumped in there. I'd be happy to do that because I think that's really cool. I've always enjoyed the theater of the mind behind radio, and if I can do some old-timey stuff.
And that is actually what I have on my little flyer right here. Join us for adventures in the theater of the mind. So, and something like that, the reason why we're doing that is because it's something entertaining, but can also be done very, very safely, and we don't have to worry about costumes or makeup or any of that kind of. We'll turn the senior center into a radio studio. So I will definitely be in touch with you about that. But we'd love to have you along for that.
I'll do it, Glenn. I'll do it. I mean, I love how you jumped in and you did it right here, where it's like you put me on the spot. But I would have done. I'm definitely in on this thing. I love it. I think the idea is great. I would love to do a murder mystery one, to be honest with you. I always thought those were like the coolest ones.
I've got a few. Yeah, I've got episodes of suspense, and we've got a good selection. For those folks who like to sing or do little comedy skits, we will be doing variety shows, but then we'll have other shows that are completely devoted to an episode of suspense or mystery theater, or I've got quite a selection planned. So we're going to get kicking on that in the next couple of weeks.
I say we do something like War of the Worlds, and I just try to scare the heck out of everybody in the area. What do you say?
Oh, I would love to. I'll tell you something. I'm an old-time radio buff, and that was the very first old radio show that I ever heard, and I did not know that it was a drama. I was about 8 years old, and there was a radio station that was just running it one night. And my brother comes downstairs, and he knows all about it. He says, "Hey, Glenn, come on upstairs. I want you to hear something." So he's got the transistor radio going, and you're hearing all about, Martians attacking New Jersey. And I thought it was for real, and it scared the heck out of me. And then, you do the research, and you find out that's what that program did on that October night in 1938. Even though they had claimed right at the beginning, this is a drama, people tuned in halfway and thought it was the real thing. And it caused quite a panic. And then after that, it changed a lot of things what you can do on the radio, as you well know. So, yeah, I would love to recreate that. That would be fun.
You know, I love this, Josie. I mean, think about what we just learned. Glenn was scared by a repeat of War of the Worlds after it originally
When I was
aired.
8 years old. This wasn't yesterday.
That's awesome. Well, Glenn Pniewski, it sounds like you've got things you're busy with. Josie Donovan, you've got things you're busy with at the rec department. And, of course, we've got Flake Fest coming up. Give me that date one more time and the hours for that.
Saturday, February 5th, 1 to 6 p.m.
Guys, thanks so much for joining me, and we will talk soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Another show is wrapped up. Another show's in the books. Another show is wrapped up. And then by the looks, it's gonna be a good one. And we'll see you next week. And the nude is basement. And the nude is basement. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And it's in the books. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And by the looks, it's gonna be a good one. Nudie's Basement. Broadcast Basement. The Nudie's Basement. The Broad Basement. Slancha.
The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the eppodcast.com.